Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and we're going to review the Nexus 9. This is Google's latest tablet, and it comes in a couple different options. It comes in 16 or 32 gigabytes, comes in indigo black, which is this color. It also comes in lunar white, and also sand, which is a gold color. Now this particular one is the 16 gigabyte model. It comes in 16 or 32 gigabytes, and that's at $399, $479, and not yet released is an LTE model that will be even more expensive at $599. So it's not an inexpensive tablet. The tablet is in iPad territory at this price, between the iPad mini and the iPad Air. So how does it stack up? Well, it's pretty good. As far as specs go, we've got Gorilla Glass 3 across the top. They've decided to go with an 8.9-inch display, 1536 by 2048, 281 pixels per inch. So it's a pretty good display, has pretty good viewing angles. It's not the best display I've seen. Compared to an iPad Air 2, it looks a little bit old just because it has an air gap where they've actually laminated the iPad's display. So honestly, if you look at this next to an iPad Air, it looks fine. If you look at it next to the new one, it looks a little bit old. Otherwise, the display looks really nice. It's pretty vibrant. The brightness is turned all the way up right now, and you can see that here. So it's pretty nice. We're under bright lights, and you can see it just fine. Outside, we haven't had a whole lot of sun here, so it's been a little bit difficult to check that out for you. But it's a decent display, and I don't think you'll have any problems. Now, it is a little reflective. It's actually very reflective, does catch a lot of fingerprints. In fact, I just wiped it off before making this video, and you can see how reflective this is. There's the overhead light, one of them, and it's just very, very reflective, but no more so than, say, a normal iPad. The iPad Air 2 adds a layer coating, and this is really more of a competitor to last year's iPad than this year's iPad. Now on the front, obviously, we've got a forward-facing camera. It's 1.6 megapixels, 720p. On the back, we have an 8 megapixel camera, and we've also got an LED flash. On the top, we have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. The outside band is metal. The back is a rubbery plastic. We have a micro USB on the bottom. We've got our power, sleep, wake button and volume button. These buttons are very mushy, very HTC-like, honestly. They really remind me of the HTC One mushy buttons from a year ago or 2 years ago. They're not that great to touch as far as the way they feel. Now, the best thing about this tablet is probably the operating system and the actual processor inside. It's a dual-core 2.3 gigahertz Nvidia Tegra K1, and it also has a 192-core GPU, which is kind of crazy. It's a Kepler DX1, and then it's got all the sensors you'd expect, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, all that stuff's inside, and is pretty much expected these days with a tablet. Now, the tablet itself to use has actually been really nice. It's got a good battery in it. It lasts almost 10 hours usually. I really don't have any issues with it. If you were to watch video straight, it may not make it if you're streaming it, but overall I think most people will be pretty happy with the battery that's inside here. I haven't had too many issues with it, and I've been using it regularly. It's fairly light. It's not too heavy to hold in the hands, and having this bezel here is actually pretty nice because you've got these dual speakers right here. One of the best things about this tablet are these speakers. Dual speakers, so when you're watching a video, it's just really nice to be able to watch the video in landscape, have these speakers. Now, the screen is not really widescreen. It's more of a 4:3 aspect ratio, and is much better in a tablet, I think, than the previous generation. This tablet is more holdable in the hand because it's narrower, and it's great for reading books, but when it comes to watching movies and viewing web content, this is actually a better aspect ratio in my opinion. Android Lollipop is really one of the big features here, and we see a lot of differences with that as far as the way the icons look. They look a little more flat. In fact, they've adopted kind of the modern look, I guess that you would call it at this point, that Apple did with iOS 7. Google's kind of made their own version of that and put that in this tablet. And in a good way, it somewhat looks a little Fisher-Price, but that's what I thought of iOS 7 at first. They've actually done the same here, and I think it's going to be pretty nice over time. So you've got all these little animations. Everywhere you touch is animated. You can see here's the app drawer. It's got this nice little animation. Everything's fast and fluid. If we go into an app like YouTube, it opens. It takes a second. It depends on the Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi has been a little bit slow here for some reason, and YouTube has actually been particularly slow. So let's open this. Go to a browser. I was watching New York Times, but we'll go to my website here. And again, it's really slow for some reason, but everything's fast and fluid. You can see the animations. Well, it's loading now. You can see the animations as I move my finger. Watch the stop and go action as we go here. We'll scroll. See my finger as it moves on the bottom, this little shadow. Nice little animations here. Same thing on the top. If I move my finger left, the shadow kind of follows. So it's some nice little touches here and there. The app drawer is similar, or the notifications is similar. Pull down with one finger. Pull again, you'll get your menu here. Or pull with two fingers to get the menu. So pull two fingers, brings you to your settings. One finger brings you to your notifications. You can swipe those off. The app switcher has changed. If we hit this button, you'll see we have different apps open. We can view them, switch between them, and everything has a place of, or a sense of place here. Everything's behind each other or in front of each other, and you get that. You can actually hit the X to close it or just swipe it off the screen. So really nice. They've done a great job there. Back button, of course, and then you can see the animation here as my finger fills the Google thing to go to Google Now. So really nice there. Now the camera, I don't imagine a whole lot of people are going to take a lot of pictures with the camera. It's grainy. Right here we're under bright light, so it looks good. But in general, it's grainy. Takes okay pictures, but your smartphone's going to do a little bit better job. It's fine for the casual picture, the average user that just wants to take a quick picture, and the front-facing camera's fine for that. But in most cases, if you want a really good picture, use the smartphone that you carry with you. It's probably better. I really have no complaints about the Nexus. In fact, I have a couple different tablets, and I find myself going back to this just because of its size. Now, its build quality is pretty good. The back does flex a little bit. I can push it in because it's plastic, but overall it feels very rigid, very strong. There are a couple things I'd like to see, like the case I'd like to use with it so I can keep the front protected, and to have it as a stand, that would be handy, but that wasn't out at the time of this. In fact, I don't think it's out now even, and it's a week or so later since it's come out. So I've been using it regularly throughout that time, and I've really enjoyed using Android Lollipop. It's very fast, fluid. It's got all the animations. In fact, it's right on par, and I know many people would think this before, but it's on par with iOS as far as animations and smoothness and finesse and overall completeness at this point. I always thought Android felt a little bit under polished, and it's really added a lot of polish with this update. Now with this giant GPU that's here, we can play games. Now I'm not much of a game player on tablets. I usually use consoles, but with games, and you can see I've gone into the game here, but there's a couple of different games we've tried out. It's great for games, no problems. It's super fast. Obviously, you'll drain your battery life a little bit faster there. But I think as far as using this next to any other tablet, it will feel just as smooth and fast. I don't think many people have complaints, especially if you have a good Wi-Fi signal or a good internet connect. The Nexus 9 has really proven to be a pretty good tablet. HTC has always built some pretty high quality products, and more so even recently. There are a couple complaints. One thing is you might see here is you can see the light from the backlight shining in more so on the top and the bottom than anywhere else, and that's where they're lighting the whole display. You might be able to see it, you might not, but it is noticeable. It's not something that really bothers me. It may bother other people, but you may want to keep that in mind at a $400 tablet price. It's kind of up there for having anything that might be an issue. I do like the Nexus 9, but I really wish they would have brought the price down $100. If they did that, I would say it's a much better buy. And much more along the lines of the previous Nexus devices that were a lot less expensive. Now, obviously, this is made by Asus, this is made by HTC, and that makes a difference. You're getting a metal build, the other one was all plastic and glass, so that definitely makes a difference between the two. But I think people that buy this, or maybe find it on deal like they had day after it came out, it actually was half price for those that were able to get in on that. That is a phenomenal price for this. So $200, $250, I would say definitely run out and get one. $400, you might want to think about it a little more. If you're familiar with the iOS ecosystem, you might be a little happier with getting an iPad. You'd probably be a lot happier for the price range. However, if you brought this down $100, I think you really can't go wrong with it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.